today we're starting with primer. We're using the MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot. Some of this stuff in this video is hers and some of this stuff is mine. I decided to go with Soft Ochre on her because her skin is a little bit more yellow than it is pink, and I prefer this one for yellow tones as opposed to more pink neutral tones. And I'm going to start off with her eyeshadow using the Sigma E40 and the Anastasia Beverly Hills Birkin eyeshadow. If you noticed, I am really focusing pretty much all of this color on the outer corner. I'm not taking it in very far whatsoever. Definitely not as far as I would take it in myself, but I'm going in a downward angle motion because I want to create a cat eye effect on her. And then going in with Makeup Geek Frappe and a MAC 224, I'm just mimicking the same motion and same placement as before, just keeping it even further on the outer corner. Courtney has really deep set eyes, and she wanted to kind of create an elongated eye shape. So going in with a darker color and a smaller brush, I'm just doing the same thing. I knew it was going to be a cat eye from the beginning, so I really wanted to create the foundation for that. With makeup, you always want to be thinking one step ahead, like a carpenter who makes stairs. Then I'm taking the NARS Coconut Grove eyeshadow and a MAC 219 brush just to kind of start mapping out where my little cat eye wing is going to go. Pretty much this entire cat eye situation was done using eyeshadow, which I think is a lot softer of an effect, and I really didn't want to go in with black on the outer corner because I wanted this look to be really neutral and soft and minimal. As extra as it is, it's kind of minimal. Then I'm taking the same eyeshadow, haha, Courtney laughs at me. Then I'm taking the same eyeshadow on an angled brush and starting to create that shape. And then I'm just gonna look on the other side and make sure that I've got them all even Steven. Please excuse my ugly face all up in the way. This is the way easier, I think, to do wing liner, not only on yourself, but definitely on clients. And like I said before, it does give it a softer effect. And I kind of started slightly connecting that wing with the inner corner of the eye. But before I went too crazy with that, I went ahead and took the Maybelline Color Tattoo in Barely Beige and a flat brush, just a shimmery cream shadow I wanted to lay down. I really wanted to keep the saturation of light on the very inner part of the eye. And I did want it to be shimmery, but I didn't want it to be frosty, so I thought I would lay this down first. And then top it off with the Urban Decay Space Cowboy eyeshadow and a MAC 242 brush just to give it a little something, a little zhuzh. I love the Moon Dust eyeshadows. They're some of my favorite products, and I think it really came in the clutch this time. Then I'll take the same angled brush and Kat Von D Shaq's black eyeliner to kind of start connecting that inner corner with the rest of the wing. And I will tight line her eye holes using some gel liner and a 210 liner brush from MAC. Be careful when you're doing this on a client. Some people can be really fidgety with this part. If you're not comfortable doing it, very much so just skipping it, but I do think it ties in a thick line with the rest of the eye. Then taking the L'Oreal Voluminous Black Carbon Mascara. This is her mascara. It is nice, but I don't really like L'Oreal. They test on animals. And then I'm taking the Lilly lashes. These are mink. They are hers. They are not mine. I am not a fan of mink lashes, but they were what she wanted to use, so I popped them on using my tweezers. I will admit they look nice, but like I said, mink lashes, not my jam. Then I'm adding this setting spray all over her skin. This is hers also. It's really nice. It smells so good. And then I'm going to add some NYX Born to Glow primer. It's a nice illuminating priming base. She had already applied moisturizer. Her skin is dry. So when you have dry skin, and I know that I'm going to go in and I'm going to bake later, I really made sure to set with hydration and add lots of moisturizing agents as I go in light layers so I don't have a cakey powdery effect. Then I'm just taking the Erase Paste from Benefit on a brush just to color correct a little bit of darkness under her eyes. She really does not like her under eye area. She feels like it's too dark and sunken in. So with that being said, you really want to add a lot of light to that area, and color correcting is a good first step in that process. After I lay it down with the brush, I blended it out with a beauty blender, and I lightly set it with some Laura Mercier Secret Brightening powder, very lightly, just to make sure that the color placement doesn't move when I go in with her foundation and other products later on. Kind of defeats the purpose if you rub it away. After that, I'm going with the Makeup Forever Ultra HD. I don't know why I'm so southern today. The Ultra HD foundation. I'm just applying it straight to her skin. She's the homie, so it's okay. But if you're doing this on a client or anyone that isn't your BFF, you definitely need to be scooping it out on a palette. But I'm going to blend it out all over the skin with the Sigma 3D HD Kabuki brush. You guys know it's like my jiggity jam. This foundation, I like it a lot on myself, even with having oily skin, but on dry skin, I think it's stunning. Something about stick foundations I have found just look so much like real skin. It's off the chain. So working this all over her skin with the foundation brush, I really blend out for a long time, way longer than you see me doing in most of this clip of this video. You really want to get that skin nice and set into the foundation nice and set into that skin. Then taking the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, this is hers, that's why I'm depositing it straight from the wand. I mixed the color Chantilly and the color Custard together to give the more lighted effect I was going for, because like I said, again, she really wanted to bring a lot of light to that area of her face. You want to apply it underneath the eyes. You want to go bridge of the nose. I put it along the sides of her nose, as you see me doing right here. I put the lighter color just on the sides of the nose because she really wanted a fleeky nose contour, so I knew that I needed to start that process now so it's not so obvious. But it goes down the bridge of the nose. It went on the Cupid's bow and the forehead, and I did not take that concealer on the tip of her nose, as you see, because I need to add shadow there. One thing she said she doesn't like, first of all, I think Courtney's gorgeous, so I think she's crazy. But one thing she said she doesn't like about her nose is how long it is. So that's where the depth I knew needed to come from. And adding light there with concealer completely defeats the purpose of what I knew I was going to be doing later. Once again, thinking ahead. Blending it out with a Real Techniques sponge. I blend this out for a really long time, much longer than you see, and clearly I'm hilarious. Make sure you go in an inward and outward motion when you're doing your under eye concealer to make sure it gets into the creases and not just sitting on top of them. I'm spraying her again just to keep it nice and hydrated. That is the NYX Dewy Skin that I sprayed her with that time. And then I'm just taking that Secret Brightening Powder to quickly set it and make sure there's no creasing. You really got to stay on top of it with under eye creasing. The only reason I sprayed it one more time is because I knew, once again, going with more powder, and I just wanted to keep the area nice and hydrated. I love the Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder so much. I don't know why I'm so southern today. Please forgive me. Then I'm taking the Makeup Forever Contour Kit in number 20. This is hers. I wanted to try it out. She has dry skin, so I didn't want to go in with a bunch of powder bronzer and a bunch of powder contour and a bunch of powder to set the face. So this is one of those times where cream contouring comes in the clutch. I do not like this whole thing I see all over Instagram. People are like dousing their faces in a crap ton of lines. You do not need all that stuff. I put a very thin line underneath her jawline and I blend it out with a fluffier brush. And I literally just put two areas of contour, like two splops of contour on her forehead, and I blend that out with a brush as well. And I didn't show it in the video, but I do her jawline, and I even put a little bit of contour underneath her lower lip. You'll notice that later. It looks like she has like a disease under her lip. It's just contour that doesn't get blended out to like the last second. For the nose contour, I'm taking a thin angled brush from MAC to draw the line on her nose that I'm using to contour. When you're doing a nose, do not take that line and just like hug the natural ridge of the nose. You're just going to emphasize what you're trying to correct. It needs to be really thin. And then I'm taking that same color to contour and deepen up the tip of her nose, and I'll take a slightly fluffy brush, this is from Real Techniques, to blend out those lines. You want to keep away from the center. This is kind of a process, the nose contour, so like I know it looks harsh now, but we definitely get it there, I promise. Just make sure you're blending out any harsh lines, and make sure that your contour color, especially on the center of your face, like your nose, is not too warm. It's not cute. Then I'm just taking the white highlight color from the contour kit with a flat brush and emphasizing that center line. I like to bring a lot like reverse contour, bring more light to the face than add darkness. So I'm just cleaning that up, buffing it out, blending it in. Keep that line away from the very tip if you're trying to shorten your nose, and I'm going to start baking. Now, when I bake on myself, I kind of do a similar method to what I'm doing to her. I'm not using as much as it looks like I'm using, I promise. But I also don't leave it on there for very long. Also, I'm taking off the baking powder around her nostrils because once again, we're trying to make it look thinner there. I'm really only gonna take this time to put the baking powder on that you see. Once it's actually on her face, oh, by the way, this is a fluffy brush. I'm using this to kind of give a lifted effect to the side of the face. I didn't want to take the baking powder all the way in because she doesn't need it because she's dry. But I really only like let it sit on her face long enough to get it on there, and then I start wiping it off immediately. You don't need to let it sit there for a long time if you have dry skin. I mean, baking isn't ideal for most dry skin, but because I'm doing it, I knew it would be okay. And like I said, I do every step of her face makeup with the like idea of knowing I'm going in to bake later. So lots of hydration, setting sprays, things of that nature. Then I'm going to start smoking out her lash line a little bit. I'm really only going to focus the most amount of the depth on the outer corner of her eye. Once again, creating a more cat eye elongated effect. She kind of feels like her eyes with a lot of eye makeup on them just look too big. But if you're going to do that, if you keep really, really dark colors and like an angled fashion on the outer corner, it will make her eyes look, not that like who do you think you are? You get to have big eyes. You don't get to like not want them anymore. But I know that she doesn't like a lot on the eyes. So this is kind of like the happy compromise, basically, to keep only the depth on the outer corner. Dusting away any excess cooking powder. Sorry, I'm such a stuttering Stanley today. Really going ham sandwich with that dusting off process. And you guessed it, hitting it one more time with another setting spray. And I will move on to do her waterline. This is a brown eyeliner. In my opinion, if I added more depth to the lash line, it's going to close her eyes off just a little bit more, which was what I was going for. I think it looked really, really pretty. And she wasn't too happy with me for doing this because she never wears eyeliner in her waterline. So she was really a trooper sitting there and letting me do that. You go, Quartz. I loves you. After that, I'm starting to bronze a little bit. I'm taking this really fluffy brush in the Tarte Park Avenue Princess Bronzer. This is a product that she owns. Really nice bronzer. I'm going to have to go get it because I think the color is beautiful, especially for more fair-toned skin like her. You can see that thing under her lip I was talking to you about right here. Can't believe I totally forgot to blend that out, but it is what it is. It goes away eventually, I swear. I just want to add a little bit of warmth to the outer skin. There's no other powder on her face whatsoever by way of like a setting powder. You really don't want to go too crazy with that if you have dry skin. And then I'm just taking a smaller brush to bronze the very, 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 very outer part of her cheekbones and underneath her cheekbones and her temples a little bit. And then I'm going to take away that contour color. Then I'm adding that cooking powder back to the bridge of her nose, and I'm really going to let that sit there as long as possible. Dusting this cooking powder off will be pretty much the last thing that I do. Once again, like I said before, adding light is a lot more natural looking than adding darkness. Then I'm just going to mascara her bottom lashes. This is her mascara as well. That's why it's coming from the tube. If you're working on clients, you absolutely need to be using your disposable wands. But like I said, some of this stuff is hers, some of it's mine. We're just kind of playing with makeup today. And this mascara actually was pretty nice. I think it was a Covergirl one. I don't really mess with Covergirl that much, but I was pretty impressed. Although, Courtney has ridiculously long lashes anyway. And she's so pretty. I love her so much. Now I'm just going in and triple, smoople, poople, schmoople, making sure I've dusted away all the powder to include the cooking powder on her nose and anywhere that I baked before, and hitting it one more time with a setting spray. Looks like I'm going in with a lot of setting spray. I am. But you're doing it in small layers. Don't turn into a greasy hot mess. And then taking the Becca Champagne Pop highlighter all over the highest points of her cheekbones. I'll put a little bit on the very, very tippy tip of her nose, which is once again going to give it that really lifted effect that I'm looking for. And I'll put a little bit on her Cupid's bow and around her temple as well. And for blush, I'm going in with the Milani Baked Blush in Luminoso, which is my favorite blush. I wear it myself all the time, and I think it looks absolutely stunning on her as well. And for lips, I just did a really glossy pink lip. She doesn't like a really heavy lip for the most part, so I took the NYX Natural Lip Liner just to map out her big, beautiful, bodacious lips. Like, is she not the most, like, she gets all the best features in the most beautiful way ever. Like, I just don't know who she thinks she is. But I'm just going to line the lips with that. No need to overline here. Her lips are very full and beautiful. And I'm going with the NARS Audacious lipstick in the color Raquel to fill in her entire lip line, which I think is a really nice peachy color to complement the kind of glowy look we're going for. And for lip gloss, I'm going in with Bite Rambutan. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will catch you in the next one. Love you. Bye.